Well, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. I mean, seriously, it does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods. Wake up this morning. Good morning, everybody. It is finally freaking Friday, okay? Tomorrow is the 4th of July. Please be safe out there, okay? Don't blow your hand off with fireworks or anything like that. Don't catch the coronavirus. Don't set the forest on fire. Okay, just be careful out there. Just be careful. We don't need nothing else to happen to us this year. So, speaking of things happening, I did a video yesterday because FedEx, who has spent $205 million, $205 million to have their name on a toxic waste dump. Yes, naming rights. They have asked Dan Snyder to change the name of the Washington Redskins. Now, here's where it's kind of funny. I didn't know this at the time, but the CEO of FedEx, is also a minority shareholder of the Redskins. He's a part owner of the Redskins, and he said, "Bro, we need to change the name. We need to change the name." 87 87 investment firms with a total of $605 billion invested in several different companies that are all advertisers with the Washington Redskins have all gotten together and said, "Yo, bro, you need to change the name." But wait, if you act now, there's even more. Last night, Nike on their online store took out all Washington Redskin memorabilia and stuff. I mean, everything. Anything Redskin wise, you cannot buy at the Nike shop anymore. So the pressure is definitely getting put on Dan Snyder to make a name change, who said in 2013 that changing the name of the Washington Redskins will not happen. Not now, not ever. And Jerry Jones went on to say, "Hey, you know what? I support old Danny. We don't have to change that name. There's nothing wrong with the Washington Redskins." So that's where we stand at this moment with the Washington Redskins and their name. It's definitely interesting. Now we are, what is this, the 3rd of July already? Jeez, we are 12 days away from the Dallas Cowboys having to get Dak Prescott's long-term deal done or not done. Now, an interesting piece here is there are some NFL executives. In fact, one team has held off finalizing contracts because they're not sure if there's going to be a season. And they're looking at it and saying, if I finalize this contract, then I got to pay the signing bonus, which could be however many millions of dollars it would be to that player for a season that may not happen. So it's kind of like they're waiting till the last moment to make sure there's going to be a season before they finalize these deals because they don't want to put out all that money that they might not necessarily be using this year. And you have to wonder if some of that affects actually Dak Prescott's deal as well, because the Cowboys could be thinking, you know, there's a possibility that we don't have a season. And if we go ahead and sign Dak to that long term deal and we end up giving him, $90 million guaranteed, we write a check today and we don't have a season, that's kind of messing up our cash flow a little because we got no more money coming in. We will still be able to keep the lights on, but, we might want to buy another yacht or two. So you have to wonder if that's also in the back of the Dallas Cowboys' mind as well. And for Dak Prescott, maybe it was beneficial for him to sign the franchise tag sooner than later. Because hypothetically, let's say hypothetically, Dak Prescott was going through and waited till next week. And as we go through, and the reality of the NBA beginning practice on the 7th, next week, and the baseball team's trying to get together, and they just find out it's just not conceivable. It's just not going to work. They're in a bubble situation. The teams are looking at being at home. And if they can't succeed, then you're looking at it and saying, we may not be able to have a season. Already the NCAA is contemplating moving their season to the spring. In fact, they've actually had discussions with the NFL on how'd you feel about moving your draft? Because if they move it to a spring season, the draft would have to be after the season, thus maybe into the summer. So there's all kinds of moving parts with this whole thing right now. That there's just so many unknowns. Now the NFL has gone on and they're looking at actually fining players for risky behavior. Basically, I'm trying to remember what sports league it was, but one team was seen at a bar, and it turns out, half of them tested positive for the coronavirus. Oh no, sorry, it was a tennis player was seen at a bar and partying it up. And then there was another sports that had done something, but they're a minor league sport. But going out, celebrating, hanging out, having parties and all that can be deemed now risky behavior because of the coronavirus. And the NFL is contemplating fining players for doing the same. The NFL is not planning on keeping players at hotels. They want the players to basically stay home. And basically, you're going to be looking at them having to self-quarantine pretty much between home and the Dallas Cowboys or their team of choice and home. That's going to be it. And that's going to be what it's going to have to be in order to try and get this thing together. And I don't know that some of the players are going to be disciplined enough for 6 months to be able to say, the only thing I'm living is my home and football. No parties, no get-togethers, none of that. That's what it's going to literally take. So we'll see where that goes. One other final thing here before I get my freaking Friday going. Here's another one of those cherry-picked statistics out there. Dak Prescott. The worst quarterback in the NFL, as you guys like to put it. And I know Philly 500, you're going to go ahead and take that clip out. I know you, Philly, because you're always taking my shit out of context. That's okay. That's okay. It was almost comical. Here's one of those things. Okay, so everything that we've been told about Dak Prescott, somehow the narrative changed. It used to be dink and dunk, dink and dunk, dink and dunk. Dink can't go down. Dak can't go downfield. Can't go downfield. Can't do it. And so here it is, last year. Most completions over 40 yards. Dak Prescott had 16. That averages out to 1 a game. Not bad. Pat Mahomes had 15. Now, I'm not suggesting that Dak Prescott is better than Pat Mahomes. No, I'm not. But that's one of those categories. But it was so funny how people instead of taking it and saying, okay, that's good, that's a great stat, they will find a way to try and pick it apart. Oh, well, Pat Mahomes, he only played 13 games, so, he would have blown Dak away. Okay, maybe so. That probably could have been the case. But let me ask you, what about all the other starting quarterbacks that are out there? And I don't care who you have on the field, because we've seen guys with great wide receivers that can't hit them. It wasn't the offensive line that was throwing those passes. It wasn't Zeke Elliott that was throwing those passes. And the last time I checked, I want you to actually, here's the thing, you people that hate Dak Prescott so much and talk about how bad he is, trash cotton, this, that, and the other, I want you to go back and look at some of these past plays that are made. I want to ask you, how often do you say, it does happen now, it does happen, it happened with Austin. But how many times, and actually that one with Austin, Dak Prescott almost got jacked the hell up because Jason Witten's eyes were looking inside. Jason Witten's eyes were looking inside, and the blitzer came right past his shoulder and almost laid the wood to Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott ducked and had the wherewithal to see Austin wide open and threw across his body and hit him wide open. But I want you to think about and look at how many times guys on the Dallas Cowboys were just wide the hell open, that they got tons of separation. Because, when I saw Hopkins out there with Deshaun Watson throwing to him, It seems like Hopkins was always wide the hell open. It seems like he always had 3, 4, 5 yards of separation. I don't usually see that often with my receivers. But at some point, when you keep getting his numbers somewhere towards the top, consistently at stat after stat after stat, at some point you got to stop saying that no, it's done with smoke and mirrors, and at some point you have to say maybe the guy isn't as bad as I thought he was. Maybe the guy is actually pretty good. Is that possible, or is your hate just that strong? Well, I hope all of you guys have a wonderful, wonderful freaking Friday, okay? Be safe out there. Remember to cover up, okay? Because the life you save may be your own, but it definitely might be a whole lot of people down the line that you're saving. And I will be seeing you guys here, of course, because that's what we do. That's all we do. We just here. Day after day after day, we're just here. We're here. I'm here with you. I'll see you soon.